On today's OCG Fam show, Mike from Fullon is here, and he's dropping knowledge bombs. Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let's talk about it in the comments. What do we got? Episode 257. 257 of these we've done. I want to talk to you about that after, but first I want to show you this video. Mike from Fullon was, we did a thing on the TV. Probably shouldn't touch that. We did a thing on the TV. We talked a remote interview, and I got to tell you, Mike, he's from Fullon. They make Fullon, one of the founders of the company, and he is an amazing guy. I talked to him on the phone for, I bet it was an hour and a half or more about just gardening and agriculture and how he sees the world and science, and it's just incredible. I hope that comes through in this interview. We did just a little short interview, about 20 minutes to talking, and you know, that's something else I want to talk to you about, is taking a deeper swing at this stuff. So anyway, let's not worry about that for now. I'm going to talk to you after, but for now, you got to watch this interview with Mike from Fullon talking about Fullon, but more importantly about bricks content, the sugar content of plants, and the mode of action of how they do their business. So watch the video. I'll talk to you after. Hey there, we're here with Mike from Fullon. The guy, it's not Fullon, it's Grow Switch, right?
Yeah, Grow Switch.
Yeah. So we did a little video the other day with one of the kids from downstairs, and kids, they're as old as me almost, but he was, we did an experiment with Nectar for the Gods was our base on some tomatoes, and then half of it we did with Fullon and half of it we did without. And the half we did with the Fullon, we got about the same yield from both sides, but got the yield a lot sooner on the Fullon side. And the other thing that happened was that it was a lot sweeter. And that's the thing I kind of wanted to talk to you. Well, you know, we're going to talk to you many times, I hope, and talk a lot about this, but the sweetness of it and the sugars. Can you tell us a little bit about what how sugars function in a plant?
Well, the sugars, number one, we measure them with the Brinks meter.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a simple tool like this.
Okay.
And we'll extract some of the sap.
Uh-huh.
And we'll put it on the lens. We'll point it towards the light source.
Uh-huh.
And as the light travels through it, it's going to bend or refract.
Okay.
And that's going to give us a measurement in percentages of what we have sugar available in the plant tissue. Sugar and dissolved solids.
Okay. So that sugar obviously makes it sweeter, but are there other functions that make it better for the plant having more sugars?
Well, the sugar is energy, just like with us.
Okay.
When we consume sugars, it's an energy, a carbohydrate.
Uh-huh.
So as the plant's producing energy,
uh-huh,
it will utilize these sugars just like we would as humans. So the best thing to do is you do, like I said, you take a sample,
uh-huh,
take a reading, and you can Google and find out the particular type of plant tissue that you're growing,
uh-huh,
or where you should be, where a healthy range percentage-wise for your plants. So we want to be, for instance, if we're growing tomato plants or whatever, we want to be up at 12-15%.
uh-huh.
And this is going to reflect the overall vitality and health of the plant. So once we look at that and we determine where we're at, it gives us inside knowledge before we actually see visually the deficiencies in the plant tissue.
Okay.
So before we start going through a series of knee jerks, we're already noticing that our plant is becoming unhealthy.
I got you. So we get to it sooner.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Fullon formulation is based on a mineral matrix with nanotechnology.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So these trace elements, we know that we have to get them up into the plant tissue.
Right.
So we use humic and fulvic acids as chelators to transport the trace elements, minerals up into the plant.
Okay.
This is where the trace elements are needed to activate the enzymes inside the plant. So it activates the enzyme production to help the plant to its highest ability to do these chemical reactions. And these reactions are happening per second.
Uh-huh.
So the more enzymes, the more reactions you're going to have per second.
Is that why you can Is that how you can finish faster with the plant, where it can actually go through its whole thing a little quicker?
Yes, when we talk about that, the plant's not actually doing anything any quicker.
Okay.
What we're doing with our formulation is we're allowing the plant to its fullest capacity, to work to its fullest potential.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And by doing so, we have a lot of customers saying that their plants are finishing faster.
Uh-huh.
So genetically, the genetic markers are what that plant's going to do.
I gotcha.
Once we can get that plant in its metabolism working right, now like I say, the reactions that are happening more efficiently and quicker.
Okay.
And as the plant, so out of these elements that we're transporting up in there, iron is held by the humic and fulvic in a cupping action, so that the iron ion is actually held onto.
Okay.
This makes the iron the main catalyst in the chlorophyll production. The chlorophyll in the plant is what makes sugars during the photosynthesis, during the photo period when the sun or lights are on.
Okay.
So when the iron is highly available in a bioavailability,
sure,
the plant will produce a lot more chloroplast to hold on to all the chlorophyll, and therefore that leads to a higher sugar level.
Okay.
And just solids in the plant tissue.
So it's not so much that the plant's going faster as that before the other plant was going too slow because it was held back from expressing its full potential of how long it would take it to produce a harvest.
Exactly. And the big thing, is happening is everything starts kind of in the root system of the plant.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So the amino acids that are in our formulation in Fullon, they help to open up the ion channels, and this helps to strengthen the overall vascular system of the plant to be able to take up more water, nutrients, so on, more efficiently.
So go ahead.
One of the biggest problems with people having problems with their plants and their sugar levels and overall health of the plants is the amount of nitrates. There's a lot of excess in the type of formulations that are out there. No disrespect to what people are doing.
Yeah. So you're talking about salt-based fertilizers.
What's that?
You're talking about salt-based fertilizers?
Yes.
And the nitrates in there get in the way of what?
Well, when you have an abundance of the nitrates, the excessive nitrates, they burn the carbohydrates. So they start burning the sugar.
Okay.
So they're eating up sugar.
Oh, sure. Okay.
That itself is the brink. So when you slow down the plant production, the plant it'll have to utilize 20 to 30% of its own energy that's being produced during the act of photosynthesis to assimilate the excess nitrates. So now the plant's having to work just like us eating bad food. Your body has to work a lot extra to get rid of it. So
does that lead to you get a big plant, but it's not a healthy plant? Is that what?
Yeah, well, that's the problem is with the excess nitrates, you'll tend to produce a very large cell a large cell with a very thin wall.
Okay.
Usually, the way you're seeing this is a very stretched plant, a very lengthy plant.
Oh yeah, you'll see like the branches are quite a ways away from each other. It's stretching out, but it's not a bushy plant. It's kind of rangy and mangy.
Exactly. And that's a very visual indication that there's too much nitrates, the plant's starting to stretch, and the thin walls, is a weak at a cellular level. It's very weak and everything is built off of cells, so it's like bricks in a wall. You got cheap bricks, you're building a flimsy wall, and that's what tends to happen. So the other thing is that these thin wall cells producing a weak tissue are magnets for pests and diseases.
Why is that?
Because it's everything in life seeks the lowest point of resistance, and that's their opportunist. So
they're easy prey because of the thinness. They're easier to bite on a basic level.
And it's a weaker tissue.
I gotcha.
Once you have a strong tissue, ideally you have a very small cell with a very thick wall.
Right.
So.
Now, would that come from, say, like, some people use like a super soil with a lot of minerals and calcium type thing in the soil, or they use like Nectar for the Gods where you've got a chelated calcium base? Is that something that is more effective than the salts at not getting?
100%.
Okay.
It's the main reason we're very thrilled working with you guys is that we complement each other's formulations. And more important, we complement each other's thought process on how to grow a better product.
Nice.
And, how to not only grow a better product, but kind of be stewards in the sense of the environment and so on and so forth. These excess nitrates just don't end up in the plant. They end up in drains and backyards and our waterways and so on and so forth. So it's an environmental issue.
And is that because it's not being taken up by the plant?
Yes.
And so it's not absorbed in the plant. So a lot of it's falling through the soil. What causes that? Go ahead.
It's all about, availability. It's all about bioavailability.
Okay.
So, as these plants get stretched and weak and, now they're magnets for pests and diseases and stuff. Now there's all these other knee jerks that are taking place that are also retarding the growth process.
Okay.
When these sugars are being consumed by the nitrates in the assimilation, those sugars could have been sent down into the root system.
Sure.
One that becomes a food source for microbial.
Oh, that helps the microbes to break down the stuff and get the stuff to the plant in more available form. It's a circle of making it better and better.
Exactly. So that's what happens is now you're actually, by not having that energy and sugars going down into the root system, you're retarding your own process. And that's why when you start using Nectar for the Gods, with the Fullon, the biostimulant, you're getting your end customers saying that, hey, I'm finishing faster, stronger, and better. Because your sugar levels are higher, you have smaller cells with thicker walls. So now your plant is, because of the small cell wall, or the small cells with the thicker walls, the plant is now drought tolerant, frost tolerant. It's a stronger plant with tighter internoding. It's just a stronger plant all the way around.
So does it retain more water, and that's why it can wait out a drought, or or is it just a stronger plant that can live on less water?
Because of the structure of the cell. Because of the structure of the cell. When you have a thin cell wall, you're transpirating. It's like a.
Oh, you lose the water out the side of it.
Yeah. It just goes. It has no way to retain because it's so thin.
Sure.
So everything is built on a cellular level. Me, plants, animals, whatever.
All the same stuff.
So it's the same thing. And it's all about the vitality of life. for either human or plant or animal, it's the vitality. And the vitality is the strength of the cells. At a cellular level, like I said, the bricks in your wall are strong. So now you got a strong wall.
Sure.
And now the plant becomes, when you start getting very high sugar levels, most pests that we know see in infrareds. So the plant actually becomes invisible. They don't even see it. The sap suckers
really?
Can't even digest it. So they don't even recognize it as a food source. So now you're eliminating a lot of the problems that you create just by using bad formulations, bad feeding schedules.
So they look for weak plants, and they see that through infrared, through their vision, and so they don't even see a plant that's healthy, and they go look for the weak one.
Once it gets up, once you get a very high sugar level, the plant will actually become, they can't even see it. That doesn't mean that they might not accidentally land on it.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't mean that a opportunist, a sap sucker, might not try to taste it. It just means that they're not going to infestate and take over, because it's just not an easy source. Everything in life seeks the lowest point of resistance.
So they're looking for easy prey, just like we all are, and they don't find it there, and so they move on, or they don't see it at all because it's not in their nature to see it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Well, let me talk to you. We'll talk at length later on, like kind of do some more episodes. Maybe we'll try to figure out some stuff we can talk about. But I wanted to kind of briefly get into that and the minerals that are in there, the trace minerals. Is that what's creating the sugars? Is that a separate issue entirely? What is it that's doing all this mode of action of this?
Well, the minerals in the formulation are a big part of it. But as I said, the minerals on their own will just sit there. So you have to have vehicles, the humics and fulvics, to move.
Okay, that's the thing that signals it, that helps it to do its thing. Are the fulvics and humics, are those enzymes? Is that what that is?
No,
or they create those.
There is actually enzymes in the formulation. So there's humics, fulvics, enzymes, natural yucca wetting agents. Everything is derived from natural sources. So we're taking sea kelps and we're extracting what we want from those kelps. We're taking what we call sea vegetables and we're extracting those. So now in those aspects, it's in a colloidal, so it's very small, meaning that if you put it into a glass of water, it's going to float to the top because it's smaller than the...
Okay. And so does that help it move up the plant?
Absolutely. Size particulate's a big thing. And when we're talking about size particulate, we have nano, which is now you're below the micron in the colloidal, you're into nano. And we're below 50 nanometers. So when you fall below 50, you now fall into the realm of quantum physics. So all the laws of physics are now out the window, and you're into quantum physics. It gets kind of complicated.
Oh, I can imagine. It's already complicated, and you're going a step further. So then it becomes at an atomic level that you're doing something.
Yes. So it's about availability. It's about just like you eating. The quicker those nutrients can get through your digestive tract and into your blood, the quicker your body's going to respond to it. And that's the same with plants. So we're trying to create vehicles to move these bioavailable minerals and trace elements. Everything in life is built from elements. Stardust, per se. At what size particulate it is how easy it's going to be moved. Now, a lot of our food source for the microbial. So when we talk about microbial, we're talking about a microscopic entity that is not going to be able to eat on microns, which is what most minerals are.
Oh my goodness! Sure.
State.
So it's like me or you trying to eat a giant rock. It's not going to happen.
It's like a boulder.
Yeah.
It's a boulder compared to talcum powder.
Wow.
So there's a big difference in the readily available to the microbial And now there's an energy that comes from the millions of years of these minerals being naturally chelated.
Okay.
And that energy also excites the microbial universe. So now everything is energy. The plant's an electrical device. It's based on photosynthesis. Sure. All the reactions are happening based on the energy from photosynthesis. And the same thing's happening in the soil. And these energies that we as humans can't detect because there's not a bolt of lightning coming off of it or whatever. But the microbial can. If we were to take a petri dish and then inoculate a little bit of the mineral matrix onto the dish, the bugs or bacteria would immediately migrate across to the product. So it's a food source, there's energy there, and it just makes everything start clicking. That's in the root zone. And I kind of described what happens once it gets up into the plant.
So this is at an atomic level. There's energy, just the electrons, the protons, and everything whirring around. This is what we're talking about here.
That's exactly.
And the sun or our light source affecting that is what's making the motive to make all this happen.
Yes.
And the things being so small, the minerals being so small, mechanically, obviously, they're easier to get up, but also because it's at a smaller level in this atomic scheme of things. I'm babbling. Yeah. Is that what's going on?
You're 1,000% on point.
Wow. Wow. Huh.
And the nano, like I say, when you get into the particulate size of the nano being at 50 nanometers or less, we fall into the realm of quantum physics. So that's where the true magic is happening. You know, the formulation, when we first put it together, it was really doing good stuff. The sea vegetables and the minerals that we were able to extract from kelps and so on and so forth, and the minerals that we were putting in there, it really made for a good formulation. Once we applied, and the technology is how to encapsulate. We use a fish protein to do an encapsulation on the nano to keep it from going radical. Just
stops it from having a reaction and coats it in something that the plant grabs up and moves along.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. But like I say, we fall into the realm of quantum physics. So what once would repel is now attracting. You know, what once was colliding is now in parallel. What once seemed to be liquid is now solid. So everything, as far as the laws of physics, have gone out the window, and you're really in a realm of magic that's making. When we look at what's happening to the plants and the way it works with the other products, it detoxes the plants. These electrical bonds are actually grabbing hold and pulling out toxicities out of the plants, the heavy metals, so on and so forth.
Well, because, you know, we give lip service to that we're all one thing. This TV and you and me and the sun are all the same thing. But this is at this level where that actually becomes true and happens.
Yes.
That everything is one.
Yep.
And that's the nature of the thing and why it all works, I suppose.
Amazingness to me and my partner. We truly, the magic was when we put the nano in, got it into the formulation, and then the magic started happening.
Wow, very cool. Well, I sure appreciate you coming on and talking to us. I'd love to talk to you for hours and hours, but we need some sort of direction that maybe we can figure out some way to take what you got here and you know, teach the audience a little bit from that.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate your time, and if there's any questions I can answer or I didn't answer, I can.
That's wonderful. If anybody's got any questions, and then we'll have you back on, you know, a little later after we get some questions. So in the comments, you got questions, you got comments, you got things you want to talk about, put in the comments, and we'll get Mike back on, and it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome, Bob. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, that was fun. I hope you found that informative. That's pretty much it, other than I want to talk to you about the show for next week. This is episode 257, like I said, and I feel like we've done some good here in this time, but I feel like there's something more out there, something deeper, something more important that we can do with this, with all of us. We're starting to build kind of a community here, and I don't know exactly what that is, but we're going to call this season 1. We're done. We're going to be episode 001 when we start on, it'll be Tuesday, because Monday's a holiday. And I'm going to try to work harder for you to do more, to get deeper into this thing of what we're doing with gardening, with growing, with making the world a better place. I love you, and I'm going to see you on Tuesday. For more information about anything on today's show, go to our website, OCGFAM.com. And if you buy anything while you're there, use the code OCGFAMSHOW. It's going to save you 20%, and it's a lot of fun. The OCG Fam Show, it's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you on Tuesday.